Hey friends, my name is Julie and welcome back to my farm. It's one of my favorite times of year. It's lambing season. And we have a whole bunch of new lambs to show you already. It's been a great start. Everybody's doing really well and I can't wait to introduce you to them all. Now, all the moms and the babies are doing excellent. We've really had zero problems with lambing so far, which is exactly what we want. But guys, we do have a big problem. We don't have names for these guys, and we really need your help. So if you've been with the channel at all, you know that year after year, we use a different letter of the alphabet as the first letter of all the names of all the lambs and the kids, the baby goats that we have born here. And this year we're on G's, and we're finding G's to be kind of difficult to come up with. So we would really love any suggestions that you have. We've got plenty of boys and girls that all need names. So the lambs tend to get the more normal names. Sometimes we give them a little bit fancier ones, but the really unique special names we save for the goats. And they're not gonna be born until March, but feel free to start suggesting those as well. We're gonna keep a list going and we'll let you guys know if we use any of your names. So this year we've got about 35 ewes that I expect to be pregnant and 8 have delivered so far, giving us 12 lambs on the ground. You may remember last year and actually the last couple years, we used a ram named Adam. He was a purebred Katahdin ram that was born here on the farm. He was a great guy, but we just can't keep a ram forever. And he had many beautiful daughters that I would like to keep in this herd, and I can't breed him back to his daughters. So we did go ahead and get a new ram. This guy's name is the Doctor, and he came from Greg Judy's flock out in Missouri. He's a St. Croix, so he's a different breed that we haven't used before. We specifically got him to breed in some better parasite resistance to our flock. This is the first year that he's really got a chance to cover all the ewes by himself, and I think he did a great job. I'm pretty sure that everybody I wanted pregnant got pregnant. And he's really been an awesome ram. I have zero concerns about being in the pen with him. He has no aggressive tendencies. He's really super chill. You can give him a scratch if you want to. And he's got this gorgeous mane coming in. He's really kind of filling out nicely as he gets older. He's not even 3 years old yet. He's a little over 2 now. We're gonna get a lot of good use out of him the next couple years. But again, probably gonna have a lot of his daughters that I wanna keep. So eventually we'll have to trade him out for a different ram. But for right now, Doctor is the daddy. So let's check out these lambs. So the first ewe that delivered is this black and white girl here. Her name is Dalia. And those are her 2 baby girls there. The one that's all black and the black and white one with the striped down her nose. And they are both tall and beautiful. Oh, and there goes Aurora. So she's one of my older ewes. She had a single girl. She always has a single girl. I refer to her line as the princess line. So we try to give them a name from a princess or a queen or someone of royalty. So we need a special name for that little girl. She's a really good mama. And then we have the beautiful Miss Angie over here. Excuse me, Aurora. It's not all about you. Yeah. So this beautiful girl is Angie. She was actually one of the very first sheep born on the farm. And she had 2 beautiful little white lambs. The slightly bigger one is a male, and he's got a little bit of brown on his ears and a little bit of black by his eyes. He's very handsome. And then the smaller all white one is a girl. So she had 1 of each. They both need names. Getting down on that mineral. Yeah, it's good babies. Next we have Betty. And if you guys saw the prolapse video from last year, that one featured Betty. And she did prolapse again this year. So we are gonna have to go ahead and cull her, which is really sad because she is a really great ewe. She's a great mom. This year she had 2 little boys, and that pretty little brownish gray one right behind her is one of hers. And then this almost all black guy with the white face, who's super adorable, that's her other little boy. So Really adorable set of twin boys. They're probably the most playful ones out here. They get stuff going with the other lambs. Both very handsome. With sets of twins, I like to give them names that either rhyme or sound similar or variations of the same name. Like last year we had Freddie and Fredo. So I'd like to do something else like that for these sets of twins. But all G names this year. And then we've got these two black and white. One's got kind of a black cape. Oh, they're gonna jump for you. And the other one's got that black dot on her back. They are a boy and a girl, and they are Cordelia's babies. They were the next set of twins. So we had 4 sets of twins right in a row, which is just a great start to the year. It's not something that we've ever selected for before, but it is something that I am thinking more about as we kind of downsize this herd, that I would like more efficient ewes. So if I can get 2 lambs out of 1 ewe instead of having 2 ewes that each have 1 lamb, that's just more efficient. Cordelia is not the best looking ewe, but she came out of one of our lambing seasons, our hardest lambing season, where we lost a lot of them to parasites. And so she survived with resistance, and she's been a very hardy girl since then. And she has one of the best udders in my entire flock. If I were gonna milk one of my sheep, it would be Cordelia. She had 2 nice lambs this year, so she's earning her keep. Got lots of babies playing. That's really the best part. When they're anywhere from like 4 days old, they start to play and bop and run around with each other. And then eventually they'll race around, especially when the moms are preoccupied eating. They will all start racing around here soon. It's like contagious. Once one starts doing it, they all start bopping around. So there's Cordelia with one of her lambs. That white one is Angie's, but then we have Miss Abigail, who I refer to as my sketchiest sheep. She's like the hardest one to get your hands on. I've had her since she was a few months old. She's just never warmed up to me. I have 3 of her sisters. They're all way easier to handle than her. But she is a very pretty girl. And she, like Aurora, her sister, she typically has a single ewe lamb, and that's what she did this year. She kind of outdid herself with the pretty genes this year. I don't even know where all this like gray patchwork color pattern comes from, but that is a gorgeous little lamb. And she's a girl. So it's gonna be tough not to keep this one next year. We'll see though. Yeah, is it your mama? So we were also lucky that the first 4 moms were very experienced. And that's because we were actually giving the sheep access to this entire field for about the last month, which they really enjoyed. And the only reason we did that is because we're getting ready to totally till and reset and seed this field. So we let them just kind of have whatever was left in it. And while it's nice for the sheep to have all that freedom for a little while, once the lambs started arriving, I got really worried that we were gonna have problems with predators. That's something that we've never ever had with the lambs or the goats here. But I certainly didn't want to risk it. And this field is fenced with woven wire fencing, but it's not electrified. So it doesn't really offer much protection. Any small predators like foxes, raccoons, possums, we know get in here. And we know we have coyotes in the area, even though we don't really see them in this field. I'm sure if they were tempted to come and grab a baby lamb, they definitely could. So we felt like it was time to put them in their winter sort of sacrifice area. And this is what we always do year after year. We have this nice lean-to barn that offers some shelter for them. And then we give them a round bale of hay, and typically we put that in the barn, but we wanted to make sure that they had more space for shelter this year. So instead, we've got the hay covered by a carport shelter that we're using as sort of a mobile shade for them during the summer months. But for now, it is covering their hay. So that gives them a little extra area to get out of the sun or out of any wet weather that comes through. One of the other big preparations that we had to do before we could put the sheep in this area was we needed to get this barn cleaned out. We really have not had this bedding pack completely cleaned out for the last 2 years. And it was getting so tall that the sheep could just jump in and out of the stalls that we had sort of set up in here. We've had some issues with the tractor, which delayed things, but Daryl was able to get that all fixed, and we got in here and we got this barn cleaned out, which feels really good. So now we're gonna go ahead and bed it down for the winter. We're gonna build a new bedding pack, which is gonna offer them some heat when they lay in here. And of course, all this space for shelter. We've got one stall set up for mamas that need a little bit of private time after they lamb. And we can go ahead and set up 1 or 2 more in here if we need to. But for the most part, we only use this for the first day. So we don't need a ton of stall space in here, just shelter. So now I feel like the lambs are a whole lot safer now that we've got them in this small area. They're not gonna get lost anywhere out in this wide pasture. And they're behind a hot electric fence. And that's one of the best defenses that we use here on the farm from predators and from animals getting out. We wouldn't want any of these lambs to slip out of the fence either and end up in our driveway or have a dog find them and hurt them. I can rest a lot easier knowing that everybody is safe and secure. This is one of our newest lambs. She was just born yesterday. Her mom is a first timer and she's actually doing a great job. So she was in the stall for just a day and we were able to let her out and she's doing a good job taking care of that baby. That's what we like to see. She had a baby girl. It's a little ewe lamb. Yep, you go with your mama. Good job. And then just this morning, had this little boy born. This is Desi. Let's see how your baby's doing. Oh, he's warm. That's always a good sign. When babies are first born, it's good to check them every couple hours, make sure that they're nursing. And one of the best signs is that they're warm and they feel like they got some heft to them. You can check their temperature pretty well by sticking your finger in their mouth. You want to make sure that's nice and warm in there. Yeah. When lambs are in the air, ewes can't see them. In their mind, I think there's just no way that a lamb would be higher than the ground. So if it's not on the ground, then it must be gone. So she can't see her lamb up in the air. I'll give it back to you in just a second. Another good way to tell if they're nursing is if they've pooped. You might see a really dark poop at first. That's totally normal. And then after that, you might actually see like a yellowish, scoury poop while their stomach adjusts to drinking milk. If that persists more than a day, you might want to think about treating them at least with some electrolytes. But usually it's just the normal course of things. Yeah, it corrects itself in a day or two. But you can see he's a little boy. He's got tiny little balls. And when they're first born, we dip their umbilical cords in iodine. But that's about all we do for the babies for the most part. Yep, just make sure that they're warm, they're nursing, that mom's taking care of them. And then we just kind of let her do the rest. Here you go. Yeah. You're a good mama. It's always nice to actually see the baby successfully nursing, too. Once they kind of reach that state, things are usually good to go from there. They're probably going to stay in here overnight. We'll see how she's doing in the morning. If all looks good, we'll let her back out with the flock. Sound good, mama? Yeah. So that's the update on lambing season so far. As you can see, we have 12 babies already on the ground that need names, and guys, it could be up to like 60 babies that I need G names for. So please, please put your best G name suggestions in the comments for me. I'd really appreciate it. Well, that's all I had for you guys today. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Such a good mama. Oh.